Everyone. So today we are going to be talking about the technology tool of Nearpod. Nearpod is an excellent tool to use inside the classroom and outside of the classroom, both in my library and in your classroom. So we want to get experience today. I want to show you all the pros of Nearpod and the components that you can utilize to make a more engaging lesson or presentation or whatever content you are teaching to kind of spoof it up and use an interactive lesson. So today's purpose is for teachers and colleagues to learn how to use Nearpod within the classroom effectively. So not just to use it, but to use it more effectively and to see, oh, there's a whole lot more components than you just thought of, using it as a lesson or a supplemental thing. Nearpod creates a flexible learning environment where teachers can lead and students can experience an authentic learning experience. Of course, today you already have your materials because I have actually given you this email, or I've sent you this document presentation through an email to prepare you for what we're going to be learning about today. So I hope you brought your laptops, your notebooks if you want to take any notes, and also that important tutorial document. That is actually some screen clippings for you to use after we get done with this presentation. Maybe you go back to your classroom and you start doing some exploring and you're not sure how to do to embed something or to get a video. There are lots of details on that tutorial document where you can see, and it's very visual, very detailed. And so hopefully it covers all parameters where you won't really have to have a question. But of course, if you do, I'm always here on campus for your support. And I'll also give you a helpline at the end of this presentation. Okay, so our standard that we're going to be covering today is the use of technology to create, adapt, and personalize learning experiences that foster independent learning and accommodate learner differences and needs. I love that last part, learner differences and needs, because I think of myself in the classroom, of course, as a classroom teacher, but I also think as a learner myself, and you all here at this presentation, we are all very different learners. So some of us are visual, some of us are hands-on, some of us are tactile, there's so many different ways of learning, and we have so much differentiation that we need to have into the class. We need to be creative, but we need to be straightforward. So there's just so many things that we need to engage our students with. I mean, like, they can't be bored. Our students cannot be bored, and Nearpod is a great place for us to accommodate to those differences. Even our students who may have an IEP or have a learning disability, Nearpod is an excellent tool that targets all of those parameters. Collaboration, I have met previously with our admin, and I just went over the great components of Nearpod. I showed them how to make a presentation just so they would feel comfortable as they're in here with us today. And then if you have any questions, they can always help you. I've also met with our academic coach to show how Nearpod can show data effectively, and that can be just for one class. It can be grade levels, or it can be school-wide. So if they want to shoot out a Nearpod that every student has access to, that right away can give them a report of whatever data they're looking for, and it's immediate feedback. So that's great, 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 great. And then, of course, we are collaborating today. I have my fellow fourth grade teachers with me, along with our special education, because I know that it is going to be great for you to know this tool and share with our students as if we are using it in the classroom. It can follow to our resource teacher. Okay? All right, so let's get into it. What is Nearpod? Nearpod is an excellent online resource to engage students in a live session. So that means it's happening in the classroom. Student pace, which means they're doing it. Maybe you need a sub or you have a sub. This is a great, great, great source for sub plans, because students can access this on their own pace, or if they need it for homework or additional practice. Student pace is a great element for Nearpod, or you can just do it as a presentation. So if you don't really want to have many different engaging opportunities on it, you just want to present, that's always the option too. This learning tool does allow students to participate in discussions, exploration, assessments, and so much more. Just like on the previous slide where I said we accommodate to different learners. There are so many tools that we're going to talk about today that just accommodate better for the students to have an authentic learning engagement environment. I mean, it's just, I can't brag on it enough. One little tidbit that I do want to put in there before we begin is that Nearpod is very near PowerPoint friendly. So that means that if you have a PowerPoint that you've made yourself or you've downloaded from Teacher Pay Teacher, whatever that may be, you can actually just drag and drop that PowerPoint into a Nearpod. Now you're saying, Molly, why do we need to do that? That is because the PowerPoint can be your base, and then you can add the Nearpod components to spoof that presentation up even more. So if you want to add a collaboration board where your students are adding their input or their comments or solving a problem, or you want to put an assessment at the end of the presentation or your PowerPoint, there's the endless possibilities, honestly. But Nearpod is a great tool for engagement. Engagement. I just need to stuff that in your brains today. But as I said, we're all different learners, and I myself am a visual learner. So I want us to actually practice together. Before we do practice, though, this is in your presentation that I have emailed to each of you. This is just a success story, an article that talks about how the flexibility of the Nearpod instruction has actually improved the math engagement. And like I've said earlier, the student pace is great because you as the teacher can you can give it whole group. You can do it small group. I'm telling you, endless possibilities. But I myself have used Nearpod for math, and I have seen great responses from my students. Okay, so here we are for creating Nearpod. So we are a very deserving and blessed district where our district does, in fact, pay for Nearpod. But if you were to be in a district that doesn't have the district Nearpod account where you have the unlimited access, you can always sign up for free, which that is the link that will give you directly there to it. I'm going to click this link, but it is going to go to my Nearpod. You all can go through your Clever account, and here's what that app's going to look like. I even favorited mine because I just love it so much. And that's going to go into play whenever you give your students that student pace, because it's going to give them right to their Nearpod. Okay, so I'm going to click that, and it's going to send us right into Nearpod, I hope. Here we go. Maybe. Waking up. Okay, so if you are not an avid user of Nearpod, your dashboard, okay, this is what I'm going to call this, is going to look a little bit different, okay, because you're not going to have all of these lessons. But if we can just look at my Nearpod, I'm throwing in some reading, I'm throwing in some language, I'm throwing in some social studies. I mean, I'm telling you, when you can use every subject in this, you can use every subject. Okay, so if you want to create one with me right now, you're welcome to. Or if you just want to sit back and watch, that is fine as well. I am going to ask you at the end of this presentation to make one, but I'll be in here with y'all so that way I can assist you, as well as Ms. Lomax, our instructional coach. All right, so first things first, you're going to go to create. Now, you're going to have these options right here. So you can have video, activity, or lesson. Lesson is where you're going to make all of the content. Okay, that's where you're going to put your PowerPoint if you want to. You can put videos, you can put activities. So I'm just going to go ahead and do a whole lesson, or I'm going to create a lesson. Excuse me. And my Wi-Fi is going to take forever. But that's okay. Okay, so here's what it pops up. It's like a clean slate, okay? Actually, this pops up, but I'm going to press an X, and I'm going to show you that again in just a minute. Because, number one thing, I always forget to title my presentations or my Nearpods. So today, that's going to be our first step, is to click that title, and that's at the very top on the left-hand corner. Okay, so then here is where you can add content. Now, this content you can, it can be from your own computer. So this right here is from your computer, the blue kind of tabs, and this is where you can input that PowerPoint, like I was talking about, or images. And then you can even do some audio. We'll talk about that in just a minute. But I'm going to start off with a slide. So you make sure it's got the blue border around it. And you come down here and click add. I'm telling y'all, this is so user friendly. It's basically like just an upgraded PowerPoint presentation that we're all used to. Little brain breaks while the Wi-Fi is working. Okay, so here we go. So like I just said, it is very, very similar to Microsoft. So it's like I'm making a PowerPoint presentation right here. You can choose the different themes that they have given you through here, which they've actually just recently upgraded it, and I am obsessed. Okay, this cute little orange one, we're going to use it today. And I want to just give this a title page. Well, you say there's a title and a paragraph section, Molly. You come up here to layouts, and here are some different layouts, just like on PowerPoint. I'm going to say just a big title, and I'm going to say example number 4 because I have made some other examples that I wanted to show y'all. But anyway, so here's this example. Some fun little additions if you want to. You can put a GIF in here that will just get these students excited, and they always love that. Let's just put a little smiley face just because I'm happy you're here with me today. Oh, and even look, it's moving. So they're going to see that as soon as they open this presentation. You can always move and adjust how you would like. You can also change fonts and the sizes if you want it highlighted. I'm telling you, it's literally just like Microsoft, but just better. Okay, and so you always want to come down here and say save and add new. Now this is just telling me that the lesson theme is going to change because I chose that orange background. But you save, and then you're going to add new. Maybe. Okay. Oh, that's letting me add a whole nother slide. So I'm just going to want to save so that way. But if you wanted to add another slide next, you could do that. This is always very good for us for like history notes and stuff. That's awesome. That's great. Now, when I just said save and add new, it added this new slide. Well, I didn't mean to do that, and I don't really want that extra slide, so I can just right click, delete. Okay, simple as that. All right, so we've just added a slide. I want to go through a little bit of the more content that you can add. So here are the videos. You can add any of these videos, which is so great. They're great supplementals. Once again, you just click add, and it's going to take you to this dashboard where you have access to the Nearpod videos, which are implemented in Nearpod. That's a resource they give you freely. It also gives you access to YouTube, and then as well as your own computer videos if you would like to do those. So I'm going to utilize the YouTube just so you can see that. And I'm going to go through and just click in homophones and see what comes up through YouTube on that. And this is direct YouTube link. So if you go onto the YouTube link or the web page and you click in homophones, you're probably going to see something like these videos. Now, I always like to make sure that they're age appropriate. So you just click on it, highlight it, and click on the video. It will briefly or it will play through. It's just going to be the smaller screen. If that's decide what you want, you can always come down here and check these out too. But then when you figure out, oh, that's the one that I want to embed in my presentation, come down here, save. Sit back and relax, and it is going to embed it for you. So you don't have to go through any of the links. You don't have to do copying and pasting. I mean, it's literally right here at the palm of your hands. All right, so video is added. So it's already in my presentation. However, I can go in and do some editing if I would like to. Great content right here is add activity. You can go through and you can give pausing points for your students. You add that activity. Now, did you see I just moved that time frame because that's where I want that activity to be, is right here. So I can add an activity at 1:33. Open-ended questions or multiple choice questions are your options on here. You can also implement captions. This is excellent for our diverse learners, especially if we've got some ELL students. Great addition. If you feel like this video is too long and you don't really need that much content, you can always shorten it. You can trim it from the beginning to the end, whatever you would like, and you can press trim. So now I've trimmed it a little bit and it's saved that. So whenever I finish editing the video, I can always click save. And once again, this is going to go straight to your lesson that you have already been working on. All right, let's look a little bit more. I want to add another. So here are your assessments, okay? My students love this time to climb, but I think it's kind of a little joke on them because they think that they're engaging in a friendly competition, but really I'm seeing what do they know about the content? Are they grasping what I'm teaching? I can use anything from here. I mean, we do social studies questions, we do math questions, we do reading questions, we do vocabulary. I mean, I'm telling you, endless possibilities, but this is a fun game. You put in the questions here. Are you learning? Okay. And you can say yes, you can say no, and you are going to come right here and press the arrow for the right answer. I'm saying yes, you're learning. I hope you're learning today. And then if you want to add answers, you can press that blue button. When you finish with question 1 or whatever question you're looking at, you come down here to the green button, add question. Okay. Also, you have the option of putting a image, or you can even just put it into this box. You can put your image right here. And you can also choose images for your answer keys. Also, you can change the time here, which is great for differentiation if some of our friends need a little bit longer than others. You can duplicate the question, or you can simply delete them. I'm telling you, user friendly. It's so great. And I'm just going to save that. Oh, it wants me, so I'm just going to delete that. Has to be at least one question. Well, I wanted to delete it. Okay. Let's see. Is this lesson great? Yes. Oh, I know what it is, y'all. I didn't do this up here. I need to put that. So it backed me up because I didn't do it right. Okay. And I'm going to say yes and save. Okay. All right. So that is our assessment tools. Now, I just did the little friendly game. You can use a quiz, and all of the questions are set up basically the same that I just did. You can choose the amount of answers that you want, the answer choices. You can choose the content, and those are in the assessment, or right down here with the quizzes and the games. Okay. And down here, quizzes and games, excuse me, in the orange. And matching pairs is great for vocabulary. Love, love, love that one. Then down here, you've got your discussion. So you can use the collaboration board. My students currently love that because they're able to put that GIF in there. We can ask fun questions, we can ask content questions, and they can put their perspective. They can tell me how they learned, or how they got a answer to a question. What was their thinking? Can you write your thinking? Tell me your thinking, just to get their minds going. And also, I'm telling you, it's that engagement. So one slide is the content, and we're talking about the math problem or the vocab word. The next slide is your collaboration board. Okay, use this vocab word in a sentence. And they come up with their own sentence. They get that typing practice in. They're not just looking at a board, staring at me, off in la la land. They're actually engaging in this lesson, and it is awesome. Okay. So once again, if you wanted to add one of these elements, one of these tools into your presentation, this is where you would do it. And you would just make sure it has the blue border around it, and then press add. If you feel like you're finished, boom, you can do that. Now, I do want to show you this really quickly. So I want to update a file. This is where I was telling you all, you can input a PowerPoint presentation. Now, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to put a photo, but because the Wi-Fi is taking so long. But this is where you can take anything from your computer and embed it into this presentation. Or you could drag and drop if you have that option as well. My MacBook doesn't really like me to drag and drop, but yours might do that. So here we go. So here is where I just got that from my desktop, this homophone anchor chart. and that can go for any of your files that you want to upload. Okay. All right. So this is our example, and we're going to say that we're finished. We come down to the left or the right-hand corner, save and exit. All right. Now you're not exiting out of Nearpod altogether because it's going to take you back to your dashboard. So if you've been doing it with me, it's going to take you back to your dashboard now. Okay. All right. You're saying, Molly, that's great, but it's in my dashboard and I don't know how my students are going to access this. Well, I've got that answer for you. I've even got the answer to how can I share this with my grade level? How can I share this with my coworkers if me as a librarian am wanting to collaborate with a classroom teacher? How can we make those correlate with one another? So you're going to come over here. You're going to hover over the presentation you're wanting to share. Click these three buttons, top three buttons, share with teachers. Okay. And once it loads, it's going to give you the option. You can email, you can put it on socials, you can link. I preferably think that this link is the easiest because you can come down here and this is an editable link. That means that they can have access to this Nearpod, but if they feel like maybe something you've put in is a little too rigorous for their class or they want to add something to it, they can edit this Nearpod, but the base of it, what you sent them, is going to be accessible to them. So you can copy it and you can add it to an email. Also, same here. You can type in the email that you want to send it to, send it through that. Okay. Super duper easy. Now, you're probably wondering, how are my students going to access this? Well, at our school system, our students do have the accessibility to Nearpod. However, what if they want to go home and their parents, they're on their tablet, they don't know they're clever, they just want to get into Nearpod? They can, in fact, do that if you come down to student pace and they have that link. So I like to copy my link and just input it into their Schoology folders, and I'll label it. Once I get it into Schoology, I just change the title of it to what they know. But that is a great way. You could also email it, embed it. This is Google Classroom friendly, but I promise you it's also Schoology friendly because our district uses Schoology. You also have the privilege on our Schoology to just embed a Nearpod on it. And if you have any questions on that, I can tell you after this presentation. But copying that link and pasting it into your Schoology folders is excellent. Now, that is for the student pace. That's if you don't really want to be involved, you want them to do the activities on their own. Maybe it's an independent or a center during your reading center block. Whatever that may look like, that is going to be independent work. Live participation is going to include you. So that means that you are presenting your Nearpod lesson and your students are on their Chromebooks. Now, we have the blessing of being one-to-one. So this really works out for our school. However, at some schools, this might not be the best accommodation because students are not one-to-one. Now, here's where students can log into their Clever and they can get through Nearpod through Clever and just simply type this in, just like your Kahoots or your quizzes. Our students definitely know how to put codes in. If they don't have this, they're not seeing this, there's always these other options for them to have access to it. And then you can also add a co-teacher link, which I love because Ms. Bush, our resource teacher, this is where you would come into play. So you would have that option of doing this presentation with us and kind of helping your friends along the way. But this is where they would have access to it, and you as the teacher are going to lead it. So one of my favorite things is that whenever you get to a video, so you're saying you're in a live, so this is my live session. Now, my students are seeing this on their laptops. Hopefully the Wi-Fi is working better. But here is a video that's going to pop up. That first video that we said. Now, this is what I want to show you. So this is a video. How should you play it? Do you want to present it on your Promethean board where it says teacher plays, or do you want students to watch it at their own pace? You can choose. If you choose teacher plays, it's going to basically wipe out their screen where they have no other option but to watch it from you, okay? Student play is where they're going to put in their headphones and listen to it themselves, okay? So we got that. There's our homophones. Okay. And great. Now, here is where you're going to see your participants. And you can hide the students' names, especially if you have assessments in there. So that way students are not seeing that. And then you can also flip right back to student paste. Okay. All right. Yes. I do want to leave that live session. Now, the only thing about live session is when you end it, it's ended. So what I like to do in the classroom is live participation. I'll do that if I want to do the whole group. But then I'll also put the student paste in my Schoology folder just in case a student maybe has missed the day, or if they need to go back and look at it as a refresher at home. So that way they have that resource available to them. One more thing before I send you on your way and creating your own, I want you to, if you're on here with me, here is where you would find your reports. So it's over here on the left-hand side, and you're actually going to probably see some of my recents. So these are all of my, these are all of my Nearpods that I've used recently that my students have gotten onto. Now I want to see, does this have, I would like to do one that has student pay. See, I do a lot of student pay so that way they can, a lot of these don't have, let's see if this has an assessment on it. Now remember, even that time to climb is going to give you a report. So it's going to tell you, I hope there was an assessment in this one. Let's see. How do we feel about this so far? Do we feel like it's user friendly? Are we into it? Okay, so look, here we go. So here's my average, okay? And I've got total participation. So this is the time to climb. So 71% of my class, or excuse me, 81% of my class participated. So maybe I had a student absent or whatever, something to that nature. And then here is how they did on that time to climb. So we probably should have gone back and looked at that, okay? But that is giving you your reports. And here are other reports right here. So if you wanted to go to student reports, like I have used a Nearpod as a geography grade one time, and this gave me right here what they got. Oh, this is telling me, okay, I do remember we did this whole group and I did this with them. So you can even do this whole group, or they can do an independent for even more practice. But we did this time to climb whole group. That's why it's only showing me that one student, myself, and they got the 81% as a class. That's why it's doing that. I forgot. So if you had more students that did this, though, it would show their names below that gives you those reports. Okay. But here, there was one more thing I wanted to show you very quickly, and I'm sorry, I'm just so excited. You can always click Nearpod to go back to your dashboard. There's one more thing that I wanted to show you. Okay, so you can come up here, right here, search by topic or standards. So say I want to look up similes, okay? This is solely or strictly using some of Nearpod's resources that they have created for you. So right here, these are these pre-made lessons. You can go through, you can preview them. So grade 5, let's do grade 4. You can preview them, and when you preview them, this is just showing you, you're just looking at it. Okay, you're being an observer. You're seeing, do I really want to use that? Maybe I could tweak it. My favorite thing is to tweak it, because look at this. This is kind of hefty. Sometimes they're even more than that. And a lot of this, my students kind of had a hard time on occasionally. Like here's this draw it segment. Use the drawing tool to draw a picture to show the meaning of a simile. Okay, well here, let's put that up. He was mad as a hornet. Sometimes this is hard for my students to do. So if I wanted to change that up, I could add it to my lessons and make that a text box instead, where they can explain it and not have to do the drawing. They could do the drawing if they wanted to, but if this is a little too rigorous for some of the students, they can always have that text box, which again goes into differentiation, which is a great thing, because some students can explain through words, others can do drawings. So I just wanted to show you that little tidbit of using the Nearpod resources. And that was simply just coming up here and clicking in the content that I'm looking for, and it has it for us. Now, sometimes like this time to climb is already made for you, which is great. So definitely use those resources for you. Okay. All right. And here we go. Here's where, like, if the students were going or you wanted to join a Nearpod, like if I did a live session, there's where you could put that code in. Okay. All right. So we are back here. Here's what I want you to do. Okay. I'm going to be in here with you. So is Miss Lomax. She's going to help you create. But I want you to first, I want you to explore. Okay. I'm going to give you 25 minutes to explore. I want you to think about if you have a PowerPoint that's on your desktop or in your files that you can implement. Since I didn't get to do that because of the Wi-Fi, if you want to do that, that would be awesome. So that way you can see that. I want you to look at the various tools. That could be embedding a video. It could be embedding a collaboration board or a quiz, whatever that looks like. I want you to look at those tools. I definitely do want you to do an assessment. Now, that goes with the games and quizzes. So any of those you can use for the assessment. And then I also want you to look at the pre-made lessons like we just did. Here's what I want you to do to show me that you're understanding. I want you to make a lesson and use at least 5 of those tools. Okay. I'm not going to be nitpicky because I want you to actually learn from this and not just say, okay, I did it, Molly, we're done. I want you to learn from it. So I want you to think of a learning target. It could even be one that you're teaching right now. Similes, okay? I'm going over similes and metaphors. So you can do a Nearpod based off of similes and metaphors. And look at that. Give me a lesson, a simple lesson that uses at least of those 5 tools that Nearpod offers. And then, of course, I will be in here as well as Miss Lomax if you need assistance while you are making it. Okay, so I'm going to give you 25 minutes to work on those, and then we will come back together. All right, so y'all did a great job. I hope you really enjoyed this Nearpod presentation. This was one of my first professional developments, so I hope we get to learn from each other. I think it's so great that even though we're teachers, we are still learners, and we get to learn from each other. And maybe you don't like it, maybe you do love it, maybe you want to play around with it some more. If you ever have any questions or concerns, I've left my email, which most of you all know that, or where to find me. That's a great part of a leadership professional is that I get to be on campus with you. So if you have any questions about Nearpod, I would love to answer them. Or if you have an aha moment or you've discovered something I haven't gone over, please email me or find me and share that with me because I always want to learn. If you do, however, need additional assistance that I cannot give you, here is the Nearpod helpline that has great resources as well for you. And there's even a text to help, like you can just text in your question if it's in between these times, and they can get to you right away. So I hope you enjoyed this presentation. I hope you enjoyed Nearpod and you begin using it within your classroom.